myself primarily as a storyteller, as a maker of fiction films. But I have, on the occasions when I made documentaries, they were on subjects which fascinated me, which really drew me, which inspired me, let's say. First, there was a film on Rabindranath for the centenary, and the film on Vinod Bihari Mukherjee, who was my art teacher in Shantiniketan, a remarkable man as well as a remarkable painter, and a film on Bala Saraswati, which was a tribute to a great dancer. But I would like to make more short story films, there's no question of that, because we do have a very rich fund of filmable short stories which should not be expanded.
You have worked on a wide variety of themes, styles, genres. You have done children's films, fantasy films, realistic films, films based in the 19th century or even an 18th century situation, films right in the 70s, the entire range. Do you still think you have other themes, other genres that haunt you or excite you occasionally, things that you would like to do in the future?
Yes, there are a few things which haven't been done yet. For instance, I've always wanted to do an epic. I've been fascinated by the Mahabharata and I'm still fascinated by Mahabharata, but I don't think the whole of Mahabharata can be tackled. So perhaps a segment of an epic, a segment of Mahabharata I will do using our tradition of stylization, perhaps using the Kathakali. I really haven't got a very clear notion of what I want to do, but I definitely do want to do an epic, a story which everybody knows from beforehand. That is something which I want to do. So
those are the segments that have...
I think one can make a film on the dice game itself. Just the dice game can make an entire film. The main problem with Mahabharata is the characters. I mean, if one thinks of an Indian audience, then there's no problem, because everybody knows who Karna is and who Bhishma is, etc. But I'm afraid a film of this nature has to be planned for the world market. And there, the relationship of the characters will create tremendous problem. Because unless you address a person as uncle, for instance, at least 3 times, he's not uncle. I mean, this is one of the things that one learns over the years. That, and perhaps I would like to do a folk tale at some point. Very much I'd like to do an authentic folk tale, not the Gopi Gain, but an authentic folk tale, perhaps based on a Maman Shingitika ballad, in a very simple style with very little dialogue, but using again Bengali folk forms. I'll continue to make children's films from time to time, but I have decided to do that. And perhaps an English language film involving Indians, because you see, if you have people of different provinces getting together in a situation, English is the only lingua that they can use, and that kind of English language film, where the language itself would be used creatively. Maybe one person will be very difficult, very sort of unvocal because of his lack of command of the language. Another would be very fluent, another would use a certain strong Indian accent. That sort of situation. It's still very much at the back of my mind, but I don't know what. So there are still a few.
You had a plan to do a science fiction film.
Yes, indeed. I was forgetting about that. That I would very much like to do, but again, that is a question of resources, technical resources. Because now, Kubrick's 2001 and a few other films made since then have set such a high standard.
And they've extended the horizons of science fiction.
Tremendous. There's no question of making that kind of a science fiction film here in Bengal. But the idea that I had originally was more of a metaphysical sort of science fiction film, would not involving so much technical expertise and perfection. Perhaps that is one thing I would love to do.